I'm Intruder Green. You might know me from things like House of Blues Chicago, aka House of Stairs, an unmarked van, and GTA Online. Welcome to the Intruder Green podcast. Today is the 29th of July in 2020. Fucking, that's a lot of years. I guess there was probably even more before that. We just didn't keep track too good back then. Anyway, yeah. I fucking, I've been going a little crazy thinking about the way things are these days and worrying about my buddies and people, back in the States getting kind of trapped there because of the coronavirus and, kind of being trapped possibly like for other reasons too. I don't know. I'm getting all conspiracy theories. Sorry to be like Seth Rogen and get all your fucking like conspiracy theory podcasts going here. But, with this, the way Trump is doing this shit with rounding people up and taking them in the unmarked vans or whatever, like these federal, I don't know, I guess they call them federal agents. They're not like federal troops. They're not like the fucking Marines or some shit. But they're like federal police or something. I don't know. It's kind of like, I don't know if anybody fucking knows who they are. They're just sending them into these cities, and now they're saying they're going to keep doing it into October. And I'm like, well, the election's in the beginning of November, so what does that mean? And I kind of get this feeling, and I think, I kind of had this idea before I even like heard anything about it on the interwebs and, watched all these like cool YouTube videos where they tell you what to think and everything, because that's real important. You should definitely watch lots of YouTube videos where they tell you what to think. And I realize, this is like a conspiracy theory echo chamber I'm getting into, so I don't want to fucking dig too deep, but it's what I've been thinking about, and it's like, what, I feel like, what happens when it becomes election time and Trump is kind of like backed himself into a corner, or like not even backed himself into a corner, but is just pushing so hard on, rounding people up and like suppressing the Black Lives Matter movement and the rioters and protesters and everything. Apparently, some people are saying he's like breaking international laws and stuff with some of the stuff they've been doing. I mean, they fucking disappear people. That's got to be against the law, right? Just grabbing people, no fucking badges, no like Miranda rights or whatever, and they just take them away to who fucking knows where. Yeah, sounds pretty bad to me. And what if he gets to this point and his only option to like not go to prison or whatever, yeah, is to like stay in power. I don't know. What if the election either doesn't happen or doesn't matter, or it's so like fucking fucked with blatantly that they're just like, yeah, what the fuck are you gonna do about it? Of course we fixed the election. Fucking, I'm not giving up power. And then other things he's saying on the Twitters and whatnot is like basically trying to drum up support of like, hey, we got to do something to stop these fucking crazy Antifas and whatnot. And so you got to keep me in power so I can keep on fighting a good fight. And now we're going to start like getting funding for the military, whatever, this private military, apparently, I don't know, to keep rounding people up and suppressing, the Antifa movement, basically. It's definitely the Black Lives Matter movement. You want to keep that as the main slogan, I guess. But I think it's becoming more of like, it's the full-on anti-fascist movement at this point. And it didn't start that way necessarily, but that's kind of what it's become. And I think that's going to be a lot easier for... It's a weird thing because you think it would be like more broad in a way that kind of makes it easier for people to be like, to get behind. But it also probably makes it easier for like people like Trump and people who support him to be like, oh, fucking Antifa. Oh, they're a bunch of terrorists because Trump said so. So now we got to fucking... fight them. So anyway, yeah, I just, it's a little thing I'm worried about. I don't know. I don't even know like what anyone could even do about it. I think it's going to happen if it happens. And hopefully we get enough good people who are willing to fucking not let it happen in positions of power that, yeah, it could possibly either not happen or not go for too long. But, like, everybody always wants to, like, talk about Hitler and stuff and, like, his rise to power. But there's a lot of other fucking dictators and, what do you call them? Autocrats? Is that a thing? I heard that word before. I think it sounds good. Who are, like, modern and came to power kind of like in the same way, where you just fucking, you say, oh, democracy, it's not that important. Also, we don't have a democracy. That's what a lot of people say. Oh, we're not a democracy, we're a republic. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who cares? Fucking, we vote. We're going to want to have votes counted and have people represent us who aren't going to fucking put us in jail and close our borders and keep us fucking do terrible things to us and everything. So anyway, it's kind of it's freaking me out. So maybe let me know I'm crazy and I'll feel better about that. Or let me know what you think if you don't think I'm crazy. And hopefully we can come to some kind of consensus on what to do about it. Because I don't have a fucking clue. I'm just glad I'm not there right now. And frankly, I feel bad for my friends that are there and have to deal with this stuff. I also think, I kind of wonder if people who are there, are so busy dealing with other stuff that they can't even necessarily see this sort of creeping thing happening. Because, everybody's dealing with, like, how the fuck am I going to pay my bills? I've been out of work for X amount of months. And I don't want my kids to go to fucking school now, even though the government says I'm supposed to, because I don't want them to get fucking sick. And even if they don't die, they're going to have fucking respiratory problems the rest of their life. Or my wife's pregnant or something, and I don't want her to fucking get sick going back to work, because then she could lose the baby or whatnot. And there's all sorts of shit going on in people's lives that they're like, it's fucking a lot of stuff to deal with. So I can understand how this sort of creeping, I don't know what to call it. It's like amassing of power, I guess, would be the best way to put it. That Trump seems to be involved with, kind of like more, pitting people against each other kind of thing, and forcing people to take sides. It seems to be happening more and more, especially with this sort of private police force. Yeah. Anyway, so I can see why people wouldn't necessarily see it happening if they're right in the middle of it. It's kind of like, you talk to people around where I am, not in the States, and they can kind of see it, and especially here in Germany, they're like, oh yeah, that's exactly how Hitler, got power. Not that, I guess the thing about Hitler, he was all about Germany. I don't think Trump's all about the USA. He's just kind of all about himself. So I don't like to draw too many comparisons there, because I don't really know, like, how, what the end game is going to be with this fucking guy. But, yeah, I don't know. Stay safe and stay dangerous, people. Hope to come back there again when it is a safe place to be, and I don't have to go to, like, prison right away or some shit. Anyway, that was my rant for today. Thanks for letting me do that. It's a punk rock podcast, so I hope you appreciate that part of it. And we're gonna get into the the more fun stuff pretty soon here. But first, we got to give a shout out to the producers of the podcast. Luke Ellis, Heather Royston, Gem City Sabrina, Vaughn Cotton, Sarah Koenig, Chelsea McNally, Cardboard Box Colony, and Carlos Hernandez. Thanks again, as always, guys. Appreciate you and everyone on the Patreon does for keeping this thing alive. If you want to become a producer of the podcast, you can get on patreon.com/intrudergreen and, sign up for as little as $1 a day. That'd be a lot of money, actually. It's funny how that adds up. You think you should probably spend $1 a day at least on a regular basis. But, that's like $30 a month. That's fucking a lot. You don't have to do that. You can do it for like $1 a month, or like, yeah, you can do $30 a month if you want to. We got all sorts of tiers up there for that sort of thing. And I'm trying to think of some special things to throw you guys' way, because we've been doing this for long enough now that I think I should probably do something like that. Maybe some stickers or keychain or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there. I don't have a real solid idea yet. But definitely trying to think of some cool shit. Also want to start doing more video stuff like the cocktail hour. You know, like I said, when it'd be nice if we were just making a podcast and making money that way, since we can't fucking go on tour no more right now. And you know, who knows when we'll actually be able to do that again. But in the meantime, yeah, like it'd be awesome if I could like just do this stuff and more cocktail hours on Saturdays and stuff like that. Maybe some more you know, cooking show stuff. Maybe I fucking hire somebody to run the camera for me so I'm not always like bumping around when I'm doing those. I don't know if you watch those, but they're fucking pretty bad. I mean, they're fucking great. You should watch them. But yeah, it's a little difficult when I'm like trying to point the camera at the food and be in the shot at the same time. And I also have to hold the camera, but also cook the food. Fucking shit ain't easy. All right. So lay the fuck off. All right. Anyway, on this episode, we got Ty from Broadway Calls. They got a new album out on Red Scare, and that's pretty fucking cool because, you know, Red Scare, they were one of the first labels that put our stuff out, and Toby's a good dude. He's always trying to make shit happen and hook things up in the punk scene, and he's kind of like, well, I don't think he lives in Chicago no more, but, you know, he was a big part of that scene. So, yeah, I want to thank Toby for hooking it up again. Yeah, without further ado, on with the show.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Intruder Green,
an inmate at the Durham Correctional Institution. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ty from Broadway Calls on the Intruder Green podcast. All right. Yeah. So,
hello.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm doing real good.
How you holding up in the, I don't know, state of affairs being what they are in the United States of America these days?
It comes and goes, you know. Like some days I have a really hard time, and then some days I just don't watch the news. You know, and that's kind of how you deal with that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty lucky to live kind of out in the middle of nowhere where I can shut off the world if I need to, you know?
Yeah, for sure. That's important. I think, you know, a lot of people, especially if you're living in a city, it's probably hard to do that. And I think you brought up a good thing. It's like it comes and goes, and I think everybody's going through that these days. So that's important to remember too. You know, if you're feeling depressed or like, you know, real shitty about the state of affairs in the world, really, not just America, but I think maybe especially in America, you're not alone. And there's, you know, hopefully things are going to change relatively soon. So we got that going for us, which is nice.
Yeah, and you don't always have to be wrapped up in it if you don't need to be. It's okay to like take a day, take some time for yourself. It's actually you should.
Oh
do
yeah,
that
for
instead
sure.
Of you know, like I recently put a time limit on my phone for the amount of hours I could look at Twitter in a day.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Just, you know,
would you just like set an alarm, or is there like an app for that?
No, it's in the phone. You can like just do that in there.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that until my friend told me she did the same thing. And I was like, oh, God, that's a great idea.
That is a good idea. Oh, yeah, I believe it to be true. But yeah, you know, like, I guess the biggest bummer is not being able to, like, go out regularly and see friends and family and whatnot. Although some people probably don't want to see so much of their family these days. Yeah. But anyway, like, yeah, that's the worst part, right? You got like so many things going on and they all kind of like feed into each other where it's like, shit, I'm isolated. Shit, the world's going fucking to shit and I can't do nothing about it or even talk to people I want to talk to about it. Shit. Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway. Yeah, you can't even go drink it away at the bar with your friends like you used to do, you know?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it almost seems kind of like dumb to have like online drinking parties. Like if you get a Zoom and everybody just hangs out drinking, but it's like, why not? I mean, you gotta do something, and everybody, like if you're into having a drink, that'd be a good idea. I think it could be cool. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah,
so
we did that early on in this quarantine. My friends and I would just get on FaceTime and take a shot.
Yeah, do it.
And it was really nice. It was really nice because we would end up talking for like a half hour usually, you know, and it was like a great way to break up the bullshit.
Hell yeah, that's a good idea. Everybody's got time these days, so like do it to it and have a drink, do whatever you got to do. But try not to get too depressed about it because everybody's feeling that way. Will be my message to the world. And we're talking to the world right now. So I want to let it out there. I heard that you guys had a big old party recently, like Friday night. We're recording on Sunday. Is that right? Was it like the album release party or something? Something like that?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our record came out on Friday, and it was our first record in a long time. And so we were, normally when a record comes out, you play a record release show. And we knew that was impossible. So we ended up going up to Josh's house. He lives way out in the middle of nowhere, up in Washington State.
Oh, wow.
Where you can like see the stars and all the galaxies and crazy stuff. And so we had a great time the other night. I'm glad that we moved this podcast to today instead of yesterday morning because you would have got a different person.
That's right. Which could have been interesting, but ultimately I agree with you that this was probably the best way to do it. Shit. I didn't set up all my soundproofing, so it's probably sounded a little echoey for a minute there. Should be better now though.
That's not good.
Doing a record album release party. That's what we do.
Yep.
You guys just hang out and party and listen to the album or something. I don't know.
We had dinner. We had dinner outside.
That's very nice.
We ate some shrooms that made us lose our minds and forget about the world for a while, which is really wild.
We should have done a podcast that night then with all you guys on shrooms. I think we missed an opportunity there, but
I wouldn't have been able to work my phone. Like I didn't know how to do anything.
You fucking push a button and suddenly like snakes are coming out of it or something, right? It sounds good to me though.
Yeah, it was fun.
So Toby hooked us up. But I have to say, may have met you guys a while back. I don't even know what year it would have been, but I saw the one time I've actually seen you guys play. It's weird because I've only seen you guys play once, but it would have been at this place called the Snake Pit in Madison, Wisconsin. I don't know if it was like a basement house show. I don't know if you remember playing that at all, but it was a fucking badass show. And it was tight.
I do remember that show. That was one of the only. I think we maybe played Madison twice ever. Wow. And there was that show, and then we came through with the Bouncing Souls once. And that show, I loved that show. I slept on a couch in the basement that night. I remember. I slept on a love seat type couch situation in the basement that night.
Nice.
And I woke up really early. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was a good. That's weird that I remember that because, and I think the only reason I do probably is because we never ever came to Madison.
That's right.
This is cool.
Yeah, a lot of bands skip over Madison and we'll go play Milwaukee or something. But I will say that like the Madison scene is like cooler than Milwaukee scene. I mean, Milwaukee's got a lot of cool bars in their big city, but Madison's like a perfect in-betweener between Minneapolis and Chicago. So, people should play there more.
I know. I want to. It was beautiful. I remember thinking it was a cool looking city.
Yeah, it is cool looking. Yeah, I agree with that. We hide out a lot of places, but we do spend a lot of time in Madison. So that's fun. But you guys basically went on like a hiatus for a long time, right? That's why this is your first album in a long time. And you ain't really been playing
we put our
much.
last record out in 2013.
Oh, all right.
So it's been It's been a long time.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, we went like 2008, 2009, 2013, and then a long break between records. So, yeah, we were just kind of hanging out, not doing the band thing for a few years.
Yeah.
After that last record came out.
Yeah. Any specific reason, or you just like needed a break, or what?
Definitely needed a break.
Yeah.
When that last record, when Comfort Distraction came out, we toured on it like once around the U.S. with Red City Radio and Silver Snakes. That was a really fun tour.
Oh yeah, those guys.
But we didn't really love them. That was a really fun tour. But we didn't really do much after in the U.S. after that to push that record. We went over to Europe and did one with Great Cynics and the Narwhals, and that was really fun.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, like I knew in my brain that something was wrong. Like I had, at the time it was depression, but I didn't realize it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm hanging out with all these amazing people. We shared a van in Europe. All three bands shared one van, and it was packed, and it was so fun. And I should have been having a lot more fun, but instead I was just like isolating myself, sitting in the front seat, reading, putting the headphones on, not, I just couldn't connect with anybody, and it was rough. So I think after that is when it just felt like a really normal time to stop doing the routine of touring constantly and try to go home and focus on our brains,
Yeah, and I can see, I can kind of picture like the situation being on tour, because it's like, yeah, part of what you want to do on tour is you have to kind of keep it fun, and what that means is probably engaging with people in the van and stuff. But if you're just unable to do that and you kind of start isolating, yeah, that I think that's a sign probably that maybe it is time to fucking hang it up for a bit and like kind of like like you said, like let your battery recharge, or do what you got to do till you can get to the point where it's fun again. Because like they say, if you're not having a good time, then don't do it, because
exactly,
it's supposed to be fun. And if it's not fun, then it's just like any other job, except you're probably making less money at it.
and you're away from the people you love. It just wasn't. It didn't make sense to keep doing it at the time. And what you said about wanting it to be fun again, like it took a couple years. We would play shows. We would play shows when people would ask us to play shows. We never broke up. We just never wrote any new songs. And so when after a few years of that, I think Josh was just finally like, hey, I think we should try this again. I think that I think it's time. And once we got back together, that feeling of, oh yeah, this is fun.
Yeah.
We make some killer songs together, and we've been writing together since we were teenagers. So
sure,
it just it feels right.
So you weren't the only one who was feeling it. You think?
I think we all had things we need to focus on. We needed to like go home and focus on like Josh and Adam are family men, and they also like run their own businesses, so they have a lot going on. And I came home and I got a job working as an server at a brunch spot in Portland, and I was like before that, I had, just worked like pizza jobs in between tours forever.
Yeah.
And then this was like my real
good.
first like push into service industry,
Sure.
And that was a totally different, so I like kind of switched up my life for a while and just did that. Hung out with I just met a whole new group of friends because I didn't, it was at that point where I didn't think I was going to ever make any other friends in my life. When you think you know everybody.
Yeah. I know what you mean, because you feel old, basically. You feel like that's the way I think of it. It's like, I'm old. I know what you mean.
Totally. And I was really pleasantly surprised when I got this job, and it felt like I was, just surrounded by all these cool new people. And during that time, I met the lady that, we ended up getting married a couple years ago.
Oh, nice.
And it was just like perfect that we took that time off, and then we got back together when when it felt like we had our shit together a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I know it, well, shit. I'll go in this direction. We're talking about, the new album, cause you did it and it's out and I fucking listened to it and it sounds lovely.
Thank you.
You know, Toby hooked us up. It's out on Red Scare. Have you guys always done stuff on Red Scare?
No, this is our first one. This is our first experience hanging out with Toby. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I can definitely recommend. Well, not like I need to recommend because you're already hooked up. But I hope you have a good experience with him because we always did and still do to this very day. And it's a good time. But how did that come about?
He's a very good, very, very good man. I that came about pretty easily. It was cool. We were writing these songs, and then once we decided we were going to make a record, I think we were about 3 songs in. We were like, okay, we might as well just do it and make a record. You know, this is feeling good. And so at that point, we started talking about how we were going to put the record out. Should we just do it ourselves, or should we just make a couple of EPs? Should we only release singles? You know, we didn't really know how people wanted to get music nowadays.
Yeah, it is a weird time for it, especially if you've been away for so long. You're like, a lot's changed in, you know, like 5 years or whatever.
Hell yeah. And so but Josh was like, you know, Red Scare makes perfect sense for our band. And we did that tour with Red City Radio a couple years back, and we're really good friends with them. We have always toured with Red Scare bands. We did, you know, tours with Menzingers, Cobra Skulls, and we've always kind of been on the edge of that scene, but never really involved fully. And we sent Toby some demos, and they were the first and only label we thought of wanting to work with. So it was really cool that we sent him some demos and he was down.
Hell yeah, that's good. Yeah, they were, you know, like probably the first label that we thought of too. But then, you know, it's similar things like come see us play, and then we fucking get signed, and then just keep partying for like ever since then. But yeah, I love the way Toby does things, and I'm glad he's putting your stuff out. I think it seems like a good fit to me. Is, you know, I don't know, it's a weird time to come out with an album, obviously, because you can't really tour for it and everything. I don't know if you guys have any like plans or are trying to make plans for that sort of thing. Even like an online type of deal or anything like that.
I don't know. I've done a couple live streams, you know, and those are fun. And a few, you know, sometimes a couple hundred people will watch you play in your living room, and that's pretty awesome. But I would, you know, we'd much rather be out playing shows. We can't do anything full band yet. I don't know how to do a full band live stream and make it sound good. We're trying to work on that.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, doing it where like we're each in our own locations, and each person films themselves, as it were, and you know, get the like feeds matched up and everything. And then broadcast that. It seems like a lot to do, but I feel like it should be able to get done. And then, of course, the other option is to just get everybody in a practice space and then like broadcast that, which some bands are doing. But unfortunately, I'm in Europe and they're in the States, and you know, Yellow's in prison, so you know, we got a lot to deal with there. As far as, you know, logistics is concerned. But, you know, I think it's an interesting time for that sort of thing. And I would like to see, I don't know. I've always had this theory that, you know, there were times when I was like trying to go to shows because there was some like cool band I wanted to see in town. And I was like, man, I really want to go see this band, but I don't know. Maybe I was like hungover or depressed or something. I was like, I don't want to get off the couch. I wish I could just like have a Stargate in my living room, and I would just walk through that and then be at the show. So like, this is kind of close to that. If you could just like, you know, maybe we get like, each person in their home can like have a wall, and you fucking get a data projector and fucking screen it. And then you get like, I I don't know. We need to get hologram technology, I think, is what I've come
really
up with all this, with this pandemic shit. Because think about that. You could have like all your friends hanging out as holograms, and like then you project the show on your wall, and you get like a solid camera so it looks like they're actually playing there. And you know, that's pretty close, except you don't got germs going on.
Yeah. No, that would be wild to see that.
I think we need to give Elon Musk a call or some shit and like get him on that. Fucking between.
Oh, he's listening.
Yeah,
he's
I know.
Listening,
of course, he's listening to everything, right? But either him or like Jeff Bezos or something, or Zuckerberg, whatever. One of those guys got to do it. Maybe it takes all three of them, but somebody come up with this shit because you know, if we can't actually gather because there's too many fucking dumbasses in America who just can't be bothered to wear a mask, you know, maybe we got to figure something else out.
I will forgive all the billionaires for being billionaires if they can provide me with hologram friends in my living room.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I got no problem with people being rich, but they should really be like creating some cooler shit. I mean,
yes,
you know, like, oh, they were like, oh, Facebook's so cool. And I'm like, is it really that cool? I mean, I don't know. It seems like it's just a way for people to fucking yell at each other about things that only they care about, and then find other people who also only care about those things. Which
it's
I guess
really
can be cool,
just for arguing. It's wild.
Yeah. Or not arguing and just like being like, this is what I think, and then blocking people when they think differently.
Yeah, true. And it's also to learn everything about the populace, so the overlords can take over.
That's ultimately, you know, the main reason to create something like that. But you know, if you want the populace to be more docile and like not try to uprise against you, like the kind of fucking do it right now, maybe give them an outlet like you know, holograms and you know, projection data projectors for shows and stuff. So you can have like a live theater in your own home. Everybody gets one. And you know, you could probably like film people in their living rooms with that technology as well. So you know, you get all the data of like fucking what they're jerking off to on the internet and whatnot. You know, like if that's the price I gotta pay for like some tight shows, I might be willing to do it. Because frankly, you know, if Mark Zuckerberg is so concerned with that, I don't know. I guess he could probably use it against me at some point, but I don't know. You know.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? For office. Lock me up again? All right.
Yeah, no, we so I've just been doing that, but I don't think we're gonna play any shows till next year. You know what I mean? Like realistically, I don't see
hopefully by then, you know, like the way things are going, there's gonna have to be like things aren't what do you call it? Trending. Yeah. Things aren't like trending towards that really in the States right now. It's getting worse.
No.
So it's like,
we're not even allowed to leave the country.
I know. Well, and it's not even like, because no other countries will like take Americans. I mean, I'm lucky because I'm over here in Germany, and like, I can travel around Europe and stuff. But I can't go home and see my buds, so that's a bummer. Can't really tour. Yeah. I mean, it could even be a thing where maybe, you know, statewide like borders and stuff open up and you can like go state to state, and maybe we do a tour in the States, but I couldn't come because like I can't go to America. Right. It's a really fucking weird situation to be in, but you know, it's also weird because I feel like under any other like, I guess I would call it leadership, you know, like elected presidents, even like the worst ones that we think of as like a punk rock dudes and whatnot. Like there's been some shitheads in office before Trump, but
for sure.
I feel like all of them would have still gotten on top of the whole pandemic thing and done a much better job than what's going on right now.
Yeah, it's just a denying of science, you know. Yeah, it's really, really scary when half the country is on board, you know. A little less than half the country, but still it's enough people to make it scary to You know?
Yeah, that's right. That's the thing they
masks are
always say. It's
politicized.
like they're way less than half the country, even probably. It's probably more like a third of the country, but they're like the most
Right.
vocal of everyone in the country. They're just like, I can scream louder than yo. I'm going to say, anti-fucking science shit, and it's going to I'm going to have enough loud people to agree with me that the quiet people who actually, care, just get snuffed out. But anyway, enough of that depressing shit. Guitar players, I bet you thought you were shit out of luck when it comes to finding your dream guitar or amp. You go on some auction site or something and it's all crap. Yeah. Well, that's because, you gotta look in the right place. And the right place is Yeah Man's Vintage and Used Guitars. They got exactly what you're looking for. Now, I know what you're thinking. Aren't they located in Switzerland or something? Yeah, man, they are. Bern, Switzerland to be exact. But you can get on the internet and you can go check out their website, yeahmansguitars.com, and you can order stuff on there. So, it don't really matter where the heck you are in the world. You can just get on their website and find all sorts of cool stuff that you're looking for. And you might not even know that you wanted it until you see it on there, and there's a lot of good stuff. If you got something specific you're looking for and need some help finding it, just hit up Yeah Man Guitars on the electronic mail. That's the email. It's 21st century and you got email and websites. It's amazing. Some people will call it magic. Some people will call it science. I just call it, I don't know, crazy shit. yeahmansguitars@gmail.com. As far as email goes, it's where you email them. And while you're at it, get your band a tour in Europe and stop by the shop. Michael and the rest of the crew would love to meet you, I'm sure, and you could tell them Green sent you. Yeah Man's Vintage and Used Guitars. Hi, Intruder Maniacs. Are you in a band? The answer is, of course you are. Everybody's in a fucking band these days. Anyway, if you're in a band, congratulations. On making the worst financial decision of your life. Aside from taking out college loans or something. Yeah. Now, there is a way to lessen the burden of such a financial decision. It's called merchandising. And Super Rad Merch Company is all ready to meet your merchandising needs. You want some t-shirts? Got a tight deadline you need them printed on? And because you booked a tour less than a month out and you didn't get canceled like everybody else's tours did? How about a bunch of weird random trinkets like keychains, medallions, and what about koozies? Everybody likes koozies. Koozies are great because they keep your drink cold and your hand warm, or vice versa, depending on what you're drinking. Super Rad Merch Company can get all these made for you. Super Rad Merch Company is an in-house artist who can help you with your designs of stuff. They're still a small enough company that they pay special attention to you and your special needs. Because, everybody's got special needs. You probably mostly. And they even got a web store. That's where the real magic is. You go on tour and you sell your stuff, but chances are you're going to have some left over, or some fans are going to feel left out because they didn't have enough money to buy something at your show. So they go on to stupidradmerch.com and find stuff from your band on there. They'll take care of all your production and shipping fulfillment needs. So go ahead, go on to Stupid Rad Merch Company's web store right now and check out all the tight bands that are already on there. They got a bunch of them at the Bomb Pops and the Bad Cop and stuff. It's all good. All sorts of cool swag. And right now, if you go on there and at checkout you use the code PRISON, you can get 15% off all of the Stupid Rad Merch branded apparel at stupidradmerch.com. Go check it out. stupidradmerch.com. I have it on good authority that you're involved with pizza making, and that's a very important topic to me because pizza's delicious.
Pizza is delicious, and yes, you've got that on good authority. I work at a little food cart in a wood-fired pizza food cart.
Oh, that's nice.
So we have this giant wood oven in there.
Like a hearth. Is that what that's called? A hearth? Or is that different?
Possibly. I don't know. It's just like it's just this crazy looking dome. It looks like a dome with a front door, and nice. You just get the fire roaring an hour before you open, move it over to the side, and then you just toss the pizzas. The pizza's cooking 2 minutes because it's 800 degrees in that oven. It's crazy. It's really cool to to like work with like actual pizza dough. You know, it's not like some pre-made gross shit.
It's not your fast food pizza.
It's cool.
Which can still be good,
like,
but usually it's not.
Ingredients.
Yeah, that's great. I enjoy real good pizzas. My whole thing is like everybody's like, "Oh, Green loves pizza and everything." And I'm like, I do like pizza, but like the thing is a lot of people, it's kind of like when you say, "Oh, I'm really into like, I don't know, something that you were into, like fucking Ninja Turtles or something." And then like suddenly for your birthday or something, everybody starts giving you Ninja Turtles shit. And it's like, some of it's just really stupid, like a fucking keychain. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this fucking Ninja Turtles keychain? I don't own keys. I just fucking break into shit when I need it. But, it's like, I like pizza, but I like quality pizza. There's a lot of shitty pizza out there. And it's because I love pizza so much that I appreciate like the good stuff. And kind of hate the bad stuff because I'm like, that's just to insult the pizza when you make it shitty. To me.
Next time you're in Portland, Oregon, come by Pizza Creature, and I will give you some good stuff.
Hell yeah, Pizza Creature. Yeah. That sounds like a cool ass restaurant, and I would definitely like to check it out. And Portland's cool. I fucking we always party hard when we're there, and have a good ass time. So Pizza Creature it is.
Yeah. Yeah, come on down. When was the last time you were in Portland?
Oh fuck, I don't know.
Last year?
I don't even know if we were there last year. Was it last year that we were there? It seems like so much time has passed since last year.
Yeah, it does.
I guess on the Interrupters tour, right? Like cuz that was in like January or something. Fuck, that was that last year? It feels like so long ago.
Huh. I know. I don't know. I don't know.
It's one thing that, the touring has been shut down since then, but then so much other shit has happened that it just feels like so much time has passed. But yeah, that was it definitely didn't happen this year. So it was at least last year, if not the year before. But yeah, it makes sense that we would have toured over there because we've been, we had an album of our own come out not too long ago.
Right.
And we had to be touring on that. So I would guess it was around like, maybe in the winter or last year, because fuck, what else did we do? I don't know. My mind is discombobulated when it comes to that stuff. People kept hitting me up when the pandemic first started, and they were like, "Oh, are you guys still doing this tour, or are you gonna do this?" And I was like, "I don't fucking know. Like, don't ask me.
Right.
I'm just waiting for them to like decide, and then." Tell me when to get on the plane to get over there. And then I'll start practicing the songs again.
Yeah, you gotta know you're showing up for something if you want to practice.
That's right. Yeah, but it's all good stuff, and appreciate pizza. Appreciate you making pizzas, and yeah,
it's fun, man.
Yeah, and now you say you live out in like kind of the middle of nowhere, but not like quite as much as like the other guy, somebody else in the band. So that sounds pretty fucking great to be living like kind of out in the middle of nowhere in Portland, Oregon. Because, there's some beautiful fucking scenery out there, which is also something I'm a big fan of. I don't know. I feel like when I grew up, I was like, oh yeah, punk rockers come from the city, like LA and New York. You can't fucking like... be like a dude from the country or the suburbs and be into punk rock. It turns out I was completely wrong about that. And most people are from those places. They just moved to the cities to like get big or whatever. But it'd be nice to like be able to like live in a cabin in the woods and then just be like, all right, time to go on tour. And then you get your fill of like, city life for a few months.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I live like 40 minutes outside of Portland, and
nice.
It's pretty great. I still have to drive into work, but I only work a couple days a week now because of everything that's going on. And yeah, it's a beautiful drive along the Columbia River, and it's like, I don't know. I grew up around here. We all grew up around here.
Yeah.
And the reason that like Josh and I are from Rainier, Oregon, and Adam is from Longview, Washington, which is right across the river.
Rainier, you guys got a beer named after you.
Yeah, it's named after the mountain that we can see from our town.
Nice.
And that's why so we wouldn't have probably never really gotten into punk if it wasn't for we got really lucky because there was this killer little record store in Longview, Washington called 13th Avenue Records that hasn't been there for a long time.
Yeah.
But they got it. They got everybody in, they got everybody all the punk stuff that they could. That was my church. Every time I got paid for my first job, which is pizza delivery, started at 16, I go spend half my paychecks at the record store. And that's really how we started building a scene in Longview, because we had access to the music. People started bands, people started booking shows, and then like bigger bands would stop in Longview sometimes and play the Legion Hall. I remember when I was a teenager, Chicks Dig It came through and
nice.
Like totally blew my mind. I'd never seen or heard them before. And they played the Legion Hall in Longview, and that was like a big deal, So we would only go to Portland for the really big shows.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. I think we actually played Longview once. And it was like a funny show because it got booked like while we were on our way. So we had to stop, play there, and it was only like a half-hour set. And like we just jumped on another band's gear and then took off to go play like, I don't know, whatever big city, like probably Portland or something.
Probably Portland, yeah.
Yeah, but it was like between Portland and I don't know. I don't know geography too good, so maybe like San Francisco or something. Yeah.
Longview is like between Seattle and Portland, and it used to be a good stop for bands, but and it's right on I-5, but it just the scene kind of dried up around 2005 or so. There just hasn't been a whole lot of shows anymore.
Sure.
The local venue shut down,
I remember we played in some I think it was like a Chinese restaurant or something.
Totally. I do remember this. Yeah, there was a Chinese Gardens. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was that is the spot. Like that's where we played our most recent Longview show too. And it's a cool little bar. It's just like a floor show, I love stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, okay. So you guys, that's right. So yeah, you guys all grew up. Well, most of you grew up around in Longview or around Longview.
Yep.
And so that's cool. I mean, fucking Green Day wrote a song about it, but it was kind of like not the most flattering song about it. But obviously they were aware.
Yeah, that was always the cool urban legend growing up around Longview, is like how that song came about. There was always arguments about if it was really about Longview. They wrote it in Longview. They played on the steps of some, like there was a rumor they played on the steps of the post office or something in Longview once. I don't really know. I was too young. I missed it when they were coming through before they were big. But
yeah, me too. I remember. Because we were like right on the verge about being able to like see those types of shows right at the time that they were getting big. But at the same time, if they hadn't gotten big, maybe we would have never gotten to punk rock in the first place, because that was like, a big year for that, and definitely sucked us in to doing that kind of thing. But
absolutely huge.
Yeah. You said you were a pizza delivery driver, and I feel like pizza delivery drivers, I don't know how it is out there, but some of the ones I know who like live in more rural areas are like, it's a real cool job because you just get to drive real fast, and maybe if you feel like it, smoke a bunch of weed and like go door to door delivering pizzas. I mean, obviously that was, maybe something you want to do more when you're younger, but I feel like pizza delivery drivers, that's like good training for a getaway driver.
Oh, absolutely. That was 16 when we started that. My best friend got me the job. So we were so irresponsible with that delivery car. It was like this little Nissan Force. It was like a stick, and it was a 4-speed Nissan stick.
Hell yeah.
And it was so fun to drive. And we would rev up the engine and try to start the car in fourth gear, like just stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of town, just to see if we could. And we're lucky that we're lucky we made it out of that alive. Actually, we have some pretty windy roads in Rainier.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. We call it roller coaster road, especially out in the country where there's like no other cars around and you just fucking take it at full speed and just see what happens, Yep. Yeah, that's right. So anyway, I think that, if we ever decide to go to legit, I think Red would be a good pizza delivery driver. And that would be a lot of fun. But, just driving a getaway car is a lot of fun too, I'm sure.
I was a pizza delivery driver, and then I used that on my resume to get a job with the post office as a mail delivery last year. I was a rural mail carrier, and that job sucks compared to pizza delivery. So don't. Yeah, I've heard. Just for anybody anybody trying to be an adult, mail carrier, tough job. All the respect to anybody that carries mail.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it is like an adult job because, right, you get like the government, benefits and all that stuff. And if you're driving pizza delivery, it's probably more like tips and whatnot that you want to make money with. But I'm guessing, the pizza scene is way cooler than the mail scene.
Way cooler. When you get in the mail scene, something I didn't know, there's a whole nother branch of cops you got to worry about. You got the postal inspectors.
Oh man.
So it's just like it's scary, man. You're always being watched.
But what do? They like come and raid the post office every fucking few days? I don't even know what happens.
They pretend to be on our side, but there's still cops.
Yeah, all right. I get it. That's all you had to say. All right. Well, back to band stuff. You guys did, I'm going off my notes from Toby here. You guys did the Warped Tour, and you've played Fest a bunch. But you ain't played Fest in a while, or what? Are you trying to get back into playing Fest? I know it might be a thing you can't announce because Fest finally fessed up. All right, and said that they're not going to do it this year. It's getting pushed back till next year. So, I don't know. Are you guys on a bill or what?
Yeah, we're planning on being there. Like we have the Tony said, yes, come play. And we were like, yes, we want to. And so we were supposed to be there this October, and we'll see if we can make it next October. Who knows what the world has in order for us. Yeah.
That's right. Especially in Florida. I mean, fuck, the rest of the whole country could fucking get their shit together, but Florida would still be like, we don't know what to do. We fucking, we keep having these beach parties and everybody's still sick. I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Man, I one thing I was pretty bummed about missing this year, though, is being in Florida the weekend before the election on an election year is a wild time. And
I didn't even think about that.
I remember that from a few years back when we played Fest. It was the weekend before, so it was 2016, I guess. Yeah. Or 2015? I don't know.
Well, 2016 is when Trump got elected.
Yeah, so it was just like that weekend before, and damn, Florida was wild. I was kind of looking forward to going back just to see how crazy it would be. You see all those footage of people with their 40-foot power boats with giant Trump flags. Florida's wild. I really want to go back. So we'll see what happens next year.
It's a good time, and I don't even need to explain it to you or probably anybody who's listening, but Fest is like a special festival. So I hope Tony Weinbender keeps it going, because I know it's a year-to-year thing. So when they have to take a year off, that makes it risky. And it's almost like a therapeutic thing for some people too, because it's like you see a lot of friends that you only see once a year. And if you go 2 years without seeing them, then it's kind of like, oh shit, I miss those people. But I might forget that there's so many cool people in the world that I get to hang out with, even if it's just once a year.
it's so cool. And Gainesville is such a cool little town. And I worry about those venues too. I worry about
for sure.
Venues surviving all over the place. That's
that's
pretty scary.
Yeah. I feel like that actually might be a call to, I don't know what the fuck to call it, a call to arms, but we don't got fucking guns or nothing, just like a call to something, to duty for musicians, that maybe we need to start doing some stuff to like do some online fundraising shit to save these venues. I know there's some of that stuff going on, but it could be more of a thing because that's totally a thing. If those venues go away, there's no way to do fest, and there's no way to fucking tour without these fucking venues. And as far as I know, there ain't a whole lot the government is doing to like keep those places around, because and I mean, why would they? They don't give a shit about fucking the arts, as the old folks like to say. They'd rather everybody just go to work in a factory and go work for Amazon or some shit. I don't know. But
yeah.
How was Warped Tour for you guys? I heard you play Warped Tour. Toby said like we did. I don't know if that means you only did one summer on Warped Tour or what.
Yeah, that's what that means. Just one summer. Yeah, 2008 we did it.
Oh,
and
tight.
It was.
I feel like that's rough, when Warped Tour was still cool. I mean, it was cool when we did it, but like I feel like back in 2008, it was still like a punk rock festival.
It had great bands.
Yeah.
But it was like 70 bands or whatever a day. I don't know how many. I can't remember. There's a lot, right? There's like 50 bands a day maybe.
Yeah.
And I would watch there was like 5 that would be really stoked on watching it. And they were really good though, because I would watch the Bronx Against Me.
Oh wow, yeah.
Every Time I Die. Like those bands were killer, and it was I felt so lucky to be able to watch them every day for a whole summer. But that was the first tour we ever did that just felt like a hard job. Like you're up at 7 a.m. to set up everything, and then you don't get to go to bed till 10 at least at night. And
that's
and
right.
It's rough, man. It's rough. We'd look at those other bands that had like people to help them, and I was just so envious of them.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Did they have bandwagons back then? Do you know what that is?
I know what that is, but I don't think they did. Or if they did, they were just, actually they may have, because I think we knew one band that was on one.
But you guys apparently
we've never
we've
never done that.
Yeah. So were you guys just in a van then?
Part of it, so the beginning of the tour, we got hooked up with this really weird bus out of Seattle, and it was like an old 70s bus that this dude had bought and
cool.
kind of renovated, but it still didn't run very fast. Like he could never drive it over like 55, and it was okay. But we ended up sharing that with MC Chris, which is like this
nice
rapper dude. Yeah. And it was really fun, like to hang out with that dude. He was hilarious because we would just, he was just the, center of attention all the time, and was cracking jokes, and it was a good way. But we really ended up not getting along with the people that were operating the bus. It was like this couple and their brother or something. It was a really weird situation where it was like 3 operators of the bus. And so by the time we actually got to Florida, halfway through the tour, we got kicked off that bus.
Oh, wow.
and so we rented a minivan for like the next 2 weeks. I drove all night. I would sleep
in a minivan on Warped Tour. Damn.
It was just like all we had. And we were really lucky because, all our gear goes on like a semi-truck trailer, that like followed the stage that we were on.
Oh,
so we didn't have to worry about our gear. It was just us and our merch really we had to deal with. It sucked. And then by the time we got up past Canada, we had about 2 or 3 weeks left of the tour, and we got hooked up on a bus that we got shared with this band called the Agrolites.
Okay,
awesome.
I heard of them. Is that a ska band?
Yeah. They taught us they taught me so much about like real old ska, like stuff from the 60s and 70s.
Oh man, that sounds tight as fuck. Like getting to hang out.
It was so fun.
Yeah, that sounds rad as hell. Because
that was pretty much the only cool part of that tour. Hanging out on the bus with us.
I mean, that's the thing about Warped Tour. I think most people kind of agree with this. It's like you're working your ass off, and that makes it so you want to like party harder. When you do get a chance, and it's like, yeah, you get in the van at around like 10 p.m. or something. Like you get like a couple of hours between the festival being done and the whatever you're traveling in needing to leave. And that's when you just fucking like get, a full night's worth of partying into 2 hours. And then you just go and pass out. So it's a lot of fun, but it definitely takes a toll. And so, yeah, like when you're like, yeah, we did it for 1 year. I get it. Because if you're not one of those bands that's on a bus with, you're able to afford your own staff and everything and have other people doing stuff for you. Oh, man, it's rough. Like, it was rough for us. I can't imagine doing it in a minivan and having one of the band members have to drive every night because you got to drive every night. And then, what do you do during the day? Like, you don't really have a chance to sleep anywhere. Yeah.
No. Yeah, it was rough. And, it's one of those things where it's just, it was something we had always dreamed of doing. I'm glad we did it.
Oh, for sure.
And we wouldn't have, met Side One Dummy. Some things did come together because of that tour.
Yeah.
Like we met the Side One dudes that year, and then we put out a record with them the next year.
Oh, nice.
And it was really cool. It definitely like put us on a path, but I would never do it again.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, yeah. Maybe if I would do it if we do like a big pop album and have like Katy Perry doing guest vocals or something. And then we can have like a bus. Yeah, that'd be cool. But then we probably don't need to do the Warped Tour because we're like playing Coliseums and shit. All right.
Katy Perry was on the Warped Tour we were on in 2008.
I heard she did.
That was like the year she was getting big.
That's amazing. So,
yeah.
I mean, you should have lined it up, bud. You get those Katy Perry guest vocals. That's all you got to do.
Dude, I almost threw up on her once.
Oh, shit.
And not because I was drunk. It was because of like food poisoning. It was in a rough spot. And I'm so glad I didn't throw up on her. It was because there was a lot of cameras and shit around. It would have been rough.
Oh, man. No, see, that's the thing, though. You throw up on Katy Perry and there's enough cameras around. Suddenly you're famous. And
I know.
Could have put Broadway Calls on the map. Or not on the map, but like on cover of Rolling Stone or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, little TMZ action.
Yeah, TMZ. That's the one. Yeah, get real famous. Anyway, I thank you for talking to me and doing this show. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to like put out there for the world. If not, I got one more question for you.
Go for it.
Crime stories. Do you got any?
Josh and I spent the night in jail together once when we were 19 because we were partying at his house and the cops showed up and we didn't let them in. And so we thought the cops would just go away. And, we were underage. There's beer in the house. We were like, oh, no, we're not going to let them in. 3 hours later, they surrounded the house with cops. Wow. 3 hours later, the landlord shows up to open the door because the cops called them and said they were going to kick the door in. That was the first time I ever had a gun pointed at my face. Oh, and we went to jail, and and we didn't even like get in trouble. We just had to like stay the night in jail because they didn't know what to charge us with because nobody was drunk by the time they got in the house. It was weird. We had to pay like $150 fine for like a noise complaint, basically. Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking weird. Like,
and I had to take a shit in the 6 hours that we were in jail.
Oh shit!
I shit in jail. Yeah.
Is it one of those situations where it's like a toilet and you're just surrounded by other people and you got to go for it?
It was like 5 a.m, so most people were sleeping. It was this weird big holding cell that we were in. Yeah. I had a door, which was nice. Yeah, I had a door.
All right, that's not too bad.
No.
But you took a shit in jail. That's something.
Yeah. And I got to share that story with you today.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's pretty interesting to think about, like, what happens when you get a noise complaint and the cops are like, let it sit. You're like, no. It's like, they're probably going to escalate things because that's what they do. But at the same time, it's like, no, fuck off.
Yeah, we just locked the door and turned off the lights and thought that our problems were solved.
And ultimately it could have been a thing where you open the door and you're like, oh, we're too loud. Sorry, we'll turn it down.
Yeah,
or,
totally.
or not do that and then go to jail instead. But, I appreciate your act of defiance.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think, most people these days would appreciate that too. Although, I don't know that a lot of black people get to do that. So could have gone differently for somebody else. But, I appreciate that you got away with it for the most part, even though you got a ticket.
Yeah. Nobody got hurt.
That's right. So anyway, I guess it's about time to wrap this up. And again, I appreciate you being on the podcast. And I hope you and yours are healthy and safe. And, hopefully we'll get to see Broadway Calls play a show one of these days because I would love to see you guys again.
Thank you, Green. I would love to play with you guys someday. We'll try to make that happen.
Hell yeah. One of these days when we can travel back to America. Maybe next year. Could happen.
Yeah, man.
And hopefully we'll see you at Fest at least.
Yeah, dude, for sure. And stay safe in Europe. And I wish you the best. And this is really fun, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. It was fun for me too. And we'll speak to you soon. And that's it for the Intruder Green podcast. I want to thank Ty again for being on it. Also, Toby for hooking it up again. You can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at Intruder Green. The Intruder Green calling line is +1 608 535 9608. Patreon.com/Intruder Green if you want to become the producer of the podcast and everything else I do. Intruder Green podcast is produced by Colin Bennett, hair and makeup by Genevieve Smith, set design by Dylan Raymer, catering Matthew Hendershot, lighting Squeak Lights, Rahway, New Jersey. Our theme song is Particles by Type Rose. Do you like penicillin on your pizza?